Mercedes has been far away from perfect this season. They have received a lot of backlash from the media and F1 experts on their poor performance. Most of it has been focused on Hamilton and his lack of pace. This has resulted in Toto Wolff losing his patience with the Briton. In this video, we'll be discussing Mercedes' season and is there a real possibility of Mercedes sacking Lewis Hamilton due to his performance? Stick with us until the end of this video as you might be shocked about Hamilton's future. To understand the situation better, we need to understand the performance of Mercedes throughout the 2022 season. If you checked the Constructors' Championship points table, you'll see that Mercedes isn't doing that bad. They are currently sitting at P3, and due to the recent reliability issues of Ferrari, P2 doesn't seem that far away either. However, these were far from everybody's expectations regarding Mercedes and their performance. Hamilton's performance has been only enough for 6th place in the Drivers' Championship, a result that many would consider disappointing. He had a great motivation coming back in 2022 due to the way that he lost the championship last year. But as of now, the 8th championship seems like a very distant goal for Hamilton, and he isn't even the best driver in his own team, let alone the whole grid. So far, Hamilton has 2 podium finishes. What's even more concerning is the fact that these finishes were the only time that he was able to outperform his colleague Russell. The first time was in the opening race in Bahrain, and the second time was in the last race in Montreal. Therefore, it's safe to say that these are far away from Hamilton's expectations for this season, after all the speculations that he might retire after the controversy last year. The fact that Hamilton is being outperformed not just by a teammate, but by a rookie in Mercedes is showing a lot about the situation that Hamilton is currently in now. Not only that, Russell has been able to finish in the top 5 in every race this season, and is the only driver that has finished in the points in every race. So far, Mercedes has been able to climb on the podium multiple times thanks to the reliability issues of their main rivals, Red Bull and Ferrari. That was the case in Bahrain, Australia, Spain and Baku. But in races where both Ferrari and Red Bull have finished the race, Russell was always behind them, and for Hamilton in some races was even hard to find on the points table. The 7-time world champion has had a miserable performance in Imola, where he has stuck behind Gasly the whole race at P14, and in Monaco, where he couldn't move beyond P9. It took Ocon's penalty for him to be promoted to P8, but that isn't all. Nothing tops the performance in Imola, where he wasn't even able to pass the AlphaTauri of Gasly for P13. The cherry on the top was the overlapping that happened by Max Verstappen, something that has been a huge blow to Hamilton's confidence. Hamilton has always been supported by Wolff after his miserable performance, and that was very understandable. Is this a novelty for Hamilton? Well, he hasn't had a season like this since 2009, when he was driving in McLaren. That was the only season in his career where he didn't manage to win a single race, and now that record seems like a brutal reality yet again. Hamilton was able to absolutely outperform his car in Montreal and secure the P3 position. He also finished ahead of his teammate Russell, who made a silly mistake as a result of his inexperience and put on slicks on his car in the qualifying session. But this hasn't been enough for Wolff, as apparently he's been fed up with Hamilton's lack of performance and his attitude during the races. However, the rookie is an absolute beast in the exact same car, and even if Mercedes upgrades the car, they should look towards George as their favorite to bring home big points in the remaining races. If we're being totally honest, the porpoising problem has been an enormous challenge to Hamilton and Mercedes overall. It's been the main reason why Hamilton hasn't been able to move on the grid in Imola. This is why Wolff jumped on the radio to say sorry to Hamilton for driving that shitbox of a car, and Hamilton afterwards said that the car is really undrivable. Hamilton hasn't held his words when he explained how difficult the Mercedes car is to drive. He even compared it to a rattlesnake that needs to be tamed, and that porpoising is so bad that it costs him severe lap time. But if we see Ferrari and their performance with porpoising, it seems like Mercedes has lots of other problems that are causing them to struggle. And when we say struggle, we mean Hamilton in particular. George has always been in the top 5 mix, and if the team manages to boost their car's performance as early as in Silverstone, Russell will be in the mix for the podium by beating the top 2 teams, not just waiting for their DNF. Russell didn't have much difficulty in finishing in the top 5 at every race so far. If you add the supposed upgrades that Mercedes expects to boost the performance of the car, rest assured that Russell will be on the highest podium place at some point. One thing that is worth mentioning is that Hamilton's car has been under an experimental process in most of the races so far. This is why Hamilton said that he hopes this process will transfer to George in the following period, as he's tired of being the guinea pig of the team. However, Mercedes had to do this because that way they'll gather the much needed data for the improvement process of their car. Mercedes has been able to accomplish its goals with the porpoising rules by the FIA, but not in the way it wanted to. FIA has intervened by adding the second floor unit, something that if Mercedes decides to do in Silverstone, it will be met with huge protests by other teams. According to Bernie Ecclestone, Toto Wolff seems to be at the edge of his patience when it comes to Hamilton's comeback drive, and he suggested that the chances of his early departure are real. Toto is getting a bit fed up with Lewis. I don't think he's trying, do you? Let's put it another way. Lewis doesn't seem bothered about losing. It's not like him. He has a competitive nature, but he's taking losing a bit easy for my liking. Lewis might sell his position to Toto. This is how much I'm getting. I'll step down and give me half of what I would get. Toto can go and do one of his magic deals, offer someone less money and keep £20 million. Nobody needs to tell Toto this because he's already thought of it. Lewis would probably stop under those circumstances, finished Bernie. This isn't a far-fetched play if you think about it thoroughly. Hamilton is always involved in some controversies regarding the FIA and their rules, as such was the case prior to the Miami GP. As an apparent protest to the jewelry policy of the FIA, Hamilton has worn a huge amount of jewelry on him on Friday prior to the Miami GP weekend. Hamilton is known as a global ambassador, and he uses his platform to speak up for most of the minorities in the world, but being in conflict with the governing body seems like a bad thing for your team. Although Mercedes sacking Hamilton mid-season seems like a real possibility, it will most likely wait to be accomplished. Chances for this to happen soon are slim to none, because now Mercedes seems like it's found the right setup for their cars just before Silverstone GP. The team doesn't have the porpoising issues anymore, and that has resurfaced yet another problem: bottoming out. This newly founded process called bottoming out has occurred due to the new setup of Mercedes cars, which is a low car ride. Now, tracks that do not have a smooth and a flat surface, such as street races, will be really hard tracks to achieve pace for the Mercs. Silverstone is a very similar track to Barcelona, and due to its high-speed nature, Mercedes will be better than what they were in the previous races. The biggest challenge at the beginning of the season, medium and high-speed corners, now seems to be something that the team will gladly look forward to. This is mostly because their car now suits tracks with this nature due to their setup. However, the importance of reliability is a huge factor in winning races, and sometimes pace and speed doesn't do the job alone if the car is unable to finish through the checkered flag. Will Hamilton be able to come back and deliver results? Or will he still underperform until Wolff has no choice but to sack him? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.